Hello everyone, I'm Roland Beronio. Today I'm with John Iverson Callejo and CJ Ablaneda, and we will be discussing the different philosophical ideas and also look at how Kantian ethics, utilitarianism, and virtue ethics can be applied to abortion, and if abortion morally permissible under these moral theories.
Kantian ethics is all about the idea of duty and respect. Immanuel Kant believed that our actions should follow universal moral principles, meaning we should treat people with respect for who they are, not just for what they can do for us. Applying this to abortion, one way to look at this is to think of the fetus as a potential person with its own inherent value. If that's the case, then ending its life could be seen as failing to respect this value. From this angle, abortion might seem unethical because it could disregard the moral worth of a potential human life. But there's another part to Kant's philosophy that's really important: autonomy, or the right to make decisions about one's own body. Kant was big on respecting individual choices. So, if we focus on the autonomy of the pregnant woman, then it's her right to decide whether or not to continue the pregnancy. In the end, Kantian ethics give us a bit of dilemma. We have to balance two significant ideas: the potential moral worth of the fetus and the woman's autonomy. Both are morally important, and finding where that balance lies what makes this such challenging ethical issue.
Virtue ethics, which comes from Aristotle's philosophy, is less about following strict rules and more about developing good character and making choices that reflect qualities like compassion, courage, and responsibility. Instead of asking if an action is simply right or wrong, it asks what would a good or virtuous person do in this situation. When it comes to abortion, virtue ethics would have us think carefully about the intentions behind the choice and the context surrounding it. For example, if someone decides an abortion because they feel they're not in position to provide a stable and supportive environment for a child, virtue ethics must see this as a responsible and compassionate decision. It shows a thoughtful assessment of one's own life and what's best for everyone involved. Virtue ethics also considers the well-being of everyone affected, the mother, the fetus, and others close to the situation. What's virtues might change depending on different factors like the mother's health, her personal circumstances, and her ability to offer a good quality of life for a child. In short, from a virtue ethics standpoint, there isn't a single answer to whether abortion is right or wrong. Instead, it's about making a decision that is thoughtful, compassionate, and responsible, aiming for the best possible outcome in each unique situation.
Utilitarianism, which was developed by philosophers like Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill, is all about looking at the consequences of our actions. The goal is to try to make choices that bring the most happiness or reduce suffering as much as possible. So when it comes to abortion, a utilitarian would consider the potential outcomes for everyone involved. They'd ask which choice will lead to the greatest amount of happiness or the least amount of suffering. For example, if continuing a pregnancy would mean severe hardship for the mother, her family, or even a difficult life for the child, then a utilitarian might see abortion as the more ethical choice in that situation. But if having the child is likely to bring more happiness overall, maybe it's something the family really wants, or it would bring joy and fulfillment, then a utilitarian might lean toward continuing the pregnancy. This approach is flexible and looks at each situation individually, but it also relies on being able to predict outcomes, which isn't always straightforward Utilitarian sees abortion as a case-by-case decision, where the ethical choice is the one that results in the best overall consequences for everyone involved. It's a practical outcome focused way of looking at the issue.